I'm looking at you, Korok Seeds. Former Diablo and Ghost of Tsushima dev outlines what makes a good collectible and dunks Zelda Breath of the Wild's worst grind in the C tier. Yeah. So this was an article I wanted to go ahead and get into. It's a little bit older, I've seen it a few weeks back, but I still wanted to kind of talk about this. I've been just saving this one just for whenever I get the opportunity to. And yeah, man, I gotta say, with what is stated in this article, we'll get into right here in a second. I have to say, I agree with a lot of the points that were made, and I feel like I understand where this individual is coming from in regards to collectibles when it comes down to like open world games and everything like that. So we'll go ahead and, per usual, check out the article, and I'll give my thoughts as we go along. So. Sometimes hovering up every possible collectible in a game can be incredibly satisfying, giving you a real sense of accomplishment for finishing the busy work you didn't technically need to do. Other times, it can be a frustrating, boring nightmare, and developer Joe Morrissey has set out the key points he thinks separates the two, and surprise, surprise, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild's notorious Korok seeds aren't a glowing example. And that is one of the things when it comes down to the Korok seeds. I actually liked, the aspect of it and everything like that, where you're having to just kind of go around the map, and then there's these little puzzles that you're able to see, or just items that you have to kind of like shoot or something like that, and you get a little bit of a reward for it. Definitely, it's one of those things you want to start off at the beginning of the game, kind of collecting them because of the fact that they do help you boost your inventory. You are able to get more weapons that you can hold, more shield, more arrows and stuff like that. So once it gets to that point, it is something that you're like, yeah, it can be pretty fun and going after it. But as stated a little bit here, and I'll get into some of that right now in a second, it kind of becomes a little bit tiresome, and we'll get into that. So Morrissey served a designer on Ghost of Tsushima and infamous Second Son, worked on Diablo 2 and 3, including on the story of 2's World of Destruction expansion, and more. And as reported by PC Gamer, he has some big things to say about collectibles during a talk at this year's Game Developers Conference. He believes there are 8 key traits a collectible must have to make it fun and worthwhile. Its discoverability, if it offers appropriate rewards, whether it's tied to a fun, skillful mechanic, what world building it offers, if it has fictional justification, character attachment, and if there's consistent placement and a reasonable quantity of the things to collect. And I gotta say, I definitely agree with that, with a lot of the statements that were stated and everything like that, because as someone that's played a lot of open world games and everything, that is one of the things I actually do enjoy doing, is going for collectibles and stuff like that. But it definitely has to have a purpose for it. If it's going to be something that you just collect them all just to collect, then yeah, I probably wouldn't be too into it. But whenever it is, like I stated with Breath of the Wild, where you do have to collect some of those items because you are able to kind of add your inventory, and it does help you in that regard, yeah, if it's done in a fun way, then yeah, I have no problem being able to kind of go that route and be able to do that. So the first 3 criterias Morrissey reckons are the most important, with discoverability resolving around how players go about finding more. If the answer is, well, you just gotta search for them, that's not gonna be a good time. Nobody is gonna have fun with that. They'll just go online and find wherever the stuff is, Morrissey says, before taking aim directly at the notorious Zelda Breath of the Wild's collectibles. I'm looking at you, Korok Seeds, he argued. Things like visual cues and systems to scan the environment can help make hunts for collectibles much more engaging. And I believe they does state it that when it does come to something like that, one of the things that was a good example was like Spider-Man, where you kind of are able to kind of scan the area and kind of look around, and you are able to kind of see where there are some collectibles and everything like that, like the backpacks with Peter's items and everything like that. And yeah, when it came down to the Korok seeds, there was no real way to kind of get any justification as to where it was. I mean, you can get the Korok mask and you can wear it where it does kind of show you a little bit of a hint on the mask if you're near a Korok seed. But at the same time, with how many Korok seeds you have to collect, it is one of those things you have to search the whole map, which is wild. And I've heard some people have mentioned how they've been able to collect all 900 of them by just going around. They didn't go online and look it up or anything like that. They were able to just see that, back and forth, and they were able to get it. And to me, that's wild, because I feel like I'd be wasting so much time doing that, and that just, it seems to be like more of a drag than something that would be fun and rewarding. So appropriate rewards is self-explanatory, but Morrissey claims he's spoken to a number of creative directors before who've said, hey, we're not going to give you the reward for the collectibles. No one really cares about this. It isn't a big deal. Only to find that all the play testers are like, why would I waste my time doing this? And that's the main thing, you know what I mean? Like, obviously, when it comes down to video games, some people do kind of see it as like a time wasting hobby kind of a thing. And in some senses, it can be. But when it comes down to stuff like that, where it's just like, oh, you just got to collect it just to collect. And that's personally when I'm like, nah, I'm not really into that. I'd prefer it if it actually has some type of benefit to collecting it, whether it is being able to kind of upgrade your character, get better in like a more inventory, or kind of like I stated in with a Spider-Man, where you do kind of learn more a little bit about the character with the collectibles you get. Because if not, then if personally I am one of those people that'd be like, what's the point? Why would I be wasting my time just trying to collect it? You know. So while Zelda isn't mentioned here, it's fair to say that both Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom rewards are questionable. Sure, collecting the things is useful to expand your inventory space, but going for all 900 or 1000 in the sequel rewards you with a literal pile of poop with no purpose, which isn't the most fulfilling prize to receive. And I feel like that's kind of a little bit of an issue with Zelda games when they have stuff like that where you are supposed to do like collectibles, because they had the same thing in Ocarina of Time, where you're supposed to collect all the skulls from the spiders. And when I was younger, it was one of those things. I think there's 50 of them that you have to get from around the map. When you're able to unlock all of them and kind of save the family that's cursed, it is one of those things. Your final reward for it is like a rupee of like 500 or something like that. And at that point, you really don't care, because by that point, more than likely, you've already unlocked everything. You've already beaten the game pretty much. You're just kind of backtracking to get it. So when it's something like that, where that's the reward, it kind of makes it pretty pointless. And that was the same issue that I personally had when it came down to Breath of the Wild. I was kind of excited to see that, there was 900 Korok seeds that you had to collect, and what the possibility of what that reward was going to be. But when you do get it, and it literally is like a golden turd that you get from the core, I forgot the individual's name, the one that boosts your inventory. When I seen that, I was like, hell no, I'm not gonna collect all these things, you know what I mean, just to say that, oh, I collected all of them. No, like me personally, I'm like, I'm good on that. I'll get enough to boost my inventory to max it out as much as I can. But once that's done, if there's no benefit to collecting more of them, then I'm pretty much out at that point. So yeah, I definitely got to say I agree with what is stated here. I don't think that doing something like that, the way that they do with Zelda, is something I personally would want to do, because it's pretty disrespectful to the gamers as well, because of the fact that they're willing to kind of put their time and energy into it. I'm sure there are people out there that would probably be able to benefit from it, maybe making like a video online or something like that, kind of showing people that they were able to unlock it. But for the everyday individual, the regular gamer that just kind of sits there and plays, making it so that a turd is the reward you get at the end of the day, I don't agree with that. I don't think that's something that you'd want to do as a developer, because it is a little bit of like a slap in the face to the gamers that are willing to put in that time, that effort, just to kind of have something that shows you kind of disrespecting them at the end of the day. So I definitely see where this individual's coming from, and I gotta say I agree with it wholeheartedly. I don't think that that's something you should be doing when it comes down to the players that are willing to play your games and kind of do what they can for it. So yeah, I gotta say that, yeah, I definitely agree with this, and it's something that I gotta say is where I would be coming from as well when it comes down to collectibles and open world type of games. So those are my thoughts on that. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Do you guys think that what he's stating is a little bit out there, or do you agree that it is kind of a little bit of time wasting right there, or are you someone that doesn't mind, even if it is like for no specific purpose? Will you still be willing to try to collect them? So if you can let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. If you guys could like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you guys have been watching this long, I really appreciate it. It means a lot. And yeah, until next time, Harmonic out. Peace.